Hey guys, welcome to Avian Games. This is Chris. We're doing something, again, a little bit different. This is kind of like a discussion video, kind of like showing off this deck here. This is a deck that I've actually been playing for a while, kind of like online, like fooling around with it. But with some cards that recently came out and some cards that were recently announced, this deck just got a lot better in kind of a bad way. So I kind of wanted to talk about it because this is definitely something I think that players should be keeping an eye out for. And it's kind of silly. So we're talking about Mayakashis, obviously. You can kind of see them here. Mayakashis are a deck that can very easily FTK you. And they're the new support they got. If they don't FTK you, there's a very good chance that you're still going to have just an awful time. So let's just get right into it. Let's talk about the Mayakashis. They're a deck of zombie monsters, despite how none of them look like zombies for the most part. They're related to the Shiranuis in archetype kind of thing. And the lovely thing about them is the only thing they have in common is that they are all zombies. So that means this deck is a great, pick for to put Small World in. Any of the Mayakashis you can reveal any of them, banish any from deck, and search any one of them. And you're probably going to end up searching the Hajun, but you can also search the Daki, whatever you need. And since it's a zombie deck, you get access to all the lovely zombie stuff. So we got Mezuki in here and Unizombie. And the whole point of this deck is to hopefully mill your opponent. So we're doing Soul Absorbing Bone Tower. Now, I've been playing this deck for a while now, and it was pretty bricky. If you drew into a good hand, you had it. If you got hand trapped, you're probably having a bad time. But this deck really is just able to play so many extenders, so many ways to get to what you need now. So it's pretty scary. We're also playing a little package of Psychic Wielders and Psychic Trackers. You can make Cherubini in this deck and then end up pitching any level 3 monster. So you can pitch your Soul Absorbing Bone Tower to hopefully trigger it off with your Mezuki and just summon it back, or off of your Monster Reborn or your Living Fossils, depending on what your hand is. You're playing a ton of draw stuff. You have Reasoning to summon from deck, but you also got Card Destruction, Double Hand Destruction, because they're zombies, they like being in grave, and Upstart Goblin. And you also have 3 Searchers with Mayakashi's Return, and 1-for-1. I didn't even think about 1-for-1. 1-for-1's here too. This deck is scary. It really is. Like, it's gotten very good very fast, and I think it's something to keep an eye out for. Now, when we talk about the new cards that have come out, there are 2 new Mayakashi cards, and they're both really good. One of them is way better than the other. The new Link 3, this basically just says that once you special summon it, you can target an effects monster your opponent controls and negate its effects. And then it has a quick effect in grave where you can banish it from your graveyard to special summon a zombie synchro monster that's banished or in your graveyard, which is very good for the deck because you have a lot of zombies in your graveyard and you end up banishing them as long as the deck, actually plays if you're not FTKing. And then the other card that is absolutely amazing is a Mayakashi in Shiranui's Tail. You contribute a Mayakashi Synchro or Link monster, or Shiranui, but you're not doing that. Tribute a Mayakashi Link monster. Neither player can special summon monsters from the hand, deck, or extra deck for the rest of this turn. And then you can banish it and target a banished zombie monster and return it to the graveyard. This is like everything this deck could have wanted. You don't even... The game plan for this deck isn't even really to get into anything past turn 1. But if you do, this is just an artifact scythe on steroids. I really don't know what Konami was thinking when they printed this card. They made a deck that already doesn't want to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Limit you even further. It's very, very easy to FTK in this deck. You just mill out your opponent. And this just made it even better. If you get interrupted somehow, if anything happens to you, you literally have a Synchro 3, so you just basically need 2 monsters on board, and you can immediately set this, and then you're good for your next turn. This deck's very scary. So we're just going to show off some replays, and we're going to talk about it a little bit, and we're going to see how easy it is to win in this deck. Okay, so we're here. We're in Yugioh Omega. We're just doing a test hand against one of the AIs here. Do note that these AIs literally suck dick. This like default one literally plays like normal monsters and shit like that. But we're just really showing off how the deck works. There's nothing like super crazy we're showing off here. Unfortunately, we do not have a small world here, but we do have our searcher and a hand destruction, and we're just gonna see how it goes. This does go pretty fast, but basically know that your game plan here is to get the wind Mayakashi and then get the fire Mayakashi and the water Mayakashi and get the bone tower. We do that perfectly. This deck, like I said, it's very easy to do what you need to do, and then you just synchro climb up. Every synchro summon you're gonna do, you're gonna mill 4, and yeah, that's literally all you do. This is gonna be a very quick game here. We're just gonna mill them all the way through. One thing to note here is in Omega, you're not able to test with the new card, so I wasn't able to test with the Link monster or with the new trap, but it is not that much of a bummer because we still win. So let's look at the next one. Okay, so this is our next hand here. You can see we're able to show off the small world here, which is great because we're able to get rid of the Daki, which is one of the best ones that we can get rid of with the small world. And then I will admit, we immediately get lucky with the reasoning here, but I do believe it was full combo no matter what. So let's check this out. We're going to reasoning, and we immediately rip the bone tower. But that's just the way it works sometimes. And then we go into the wind, into the fire, into the water. And that is, again, full combo. And we still have an extender in hand if we needed to. But we do not. We have way beyond full combo here. This deck has a pretty easy time milling over 40. So even if you're playing something like a 60 card Noble Knight or like you know, some weird build of Paleo Frog or something that's running 60, you know, I don't know if you can hit exactly 60, but you know, it's definitely doable and you're taking all the resources out, and that's another win. So yep, that's basically how the deck works. Okay, so we are back from those replays. Again, I was just kind of trying to show off this deck. The new cards are very good, and it is something that I think you should at least kind of look out for, especially when this trap is released. This trap is so good. Unfortunately, we weren't able to show it off during the replays, but Omega won't let me play with this card for some godforsaken reason. And honestly, I just am too lazy to boot up Yugioh Pro. I like Omega more. Also, again, this is just a list I kind of pulled out from like close to a year ago now, probably. I had this just sitting there. I really only added the small worlds. I didn't spend much time deck building this, but for spending almost no time deck building it, it does work very well, which is a little bit scary if you can just kind of wildly throw things in and it works out. I will say you are restricted to Mayakashis when you use the Daki, the Graceful Mayakashi. Which is a little bit of a bummer, but it doesn't matter for your combo, which is nice. But I think this deck has a lot of potential waiting to work out there, especially when you look at things like Cherubini in your level 3s. You are running 6 level 3s here, so I think that there could be some sort of synergy if you were maybe running like a Burning Abyss variant, or if you were just running a pure zombie variant. I think that could work as well, you know, something with Baylor Drock and Zombie World. Anything that could make this deck stun a little bit more, I think would work really well. Key cards to look out for when you're playing the deck, if you plan on testing it out. Hajun is like basically your full combo. This card gets you out your Daki, and you're able to go off. And then look out for the fact that your Yuke Musume is also a foolish burial for zombies when it is summoned off its own effect, which is super great. And then I will say this deck, you do have to kind of think a little bit. It does seem straightforward once you get to the combo, but getting to the combo can be a little tough. But usually most hands you're going to get are going to be able to get you there. I can't count how many times recording this I just simply like fucked up with Small World and banished the wrong card immediately, or like banished. I was trying to get to the Water Mayakashi and I banished the Wind, and they're both level 1s, and I immediately was like, ah, fuck, and all I had to do was like banish the Mezuki instead, and I would have gotten to it. You know what I mean? So just keep your keep your brain awake while you're doing this. I will say you could probably run more hand destruction. I'd probably end up taking Livell Fossil and run another hand destruction. This card is amazing in this deck because you do want your Mezukis engraved. You do want your Soul Absorbing Bone Towers engraved. Honestly, for a zombie deck too, I would almost say that Unizombie is like almost a brick in this deck. I really never appreciated having it in hand, but it is a level 3, so if you end up opening like some godforsaken awful hand, you can Unizombie into a Psychic Monster, into a Cherubini, and then hopefully set yourself up for next turn, but that really isn't what this deck wants to do. So yeah, I highly suggest checking out this deck. You know, I'm not gonna lie, it really isn't that fun. You do one combo and that's it. But it is something to keep an eye out for, especially if you want to buy some of the cards. You know, maybe get a jump on something when this trap comes out. Who knows what kind of stuff is going to be made with it, especially with Zombie World, that kind of strategy going up because of the Fluanderies deck. You know, maybe when this comes out, this might take up, you know, take a place in a rogue tier somewhere, you know what I mean? So keep an eye out for it. And yeah, bye.